I am now convinced the person that gets in my way most in this life, it's me. I've also come to the conclusion that the person that lies to me the most, that's me as well. And maybe I'll unpack that some other day. But here today, my concern is this: what Paul writes to the church in Galatia. And stay with me because I'm going to come back to that, and this is all going to make sense in a second. In Galatians chapter 1, verse 10, he says this to the church in Galatia: Am I now trying to win the approval of men or of God? Or am I trying to please men? If I were trying to please men, I would not be a servant of Christ. Now, I can summarize that truth this way: if I want to follow Jesus to the best of my ability, then I cannot be concerned with what others think of me. Now, I don't mean that in the jerky kind of way, like, I don't care what you think, get over it. It may be better said that I care more about what God thinks than what other people think about me. I care more about the decisions that I make, what God thinks about them, than what others think about me. That's probably a better way to say it. Now, this kind of confidence grows in you as you follow Jesus. The more you follow him, the higher your confidence becomes in him. And you choose to follow Jesus above whatever is happening around you. And when you follow him still, even when there's pressure from other people for you to live a certain way or to not live a certain way, that's what Paul's addressing here and telling you: make sure you're pleasing God, not other people. But reading this verse today, I had a whole other perspective on what Paul was saying about pleasing men, or we could say it this way, pleasing people. And it's tied to what I began with. I get in the way in my life the most. I lie to myself the most. And my continuing thought on this is this: hey, I'm a person, and maybe the person that I try to please the most isn't out there, but rather is right here. And the person I try to please the most is me. Maybe the person that I want to please more than Jesus isn't out there, but he's right here. I mean, think about it. Reread that verse this way: if I'm still trying to please, not men, still trying to please me, I wouldn't be a servant of Christ. And that is true because they often get in the way of each other. You see, what does often get in the way of following Jesus, for when I hear the person that says, hey, don't do that, that's weird, when I feel God nudging me to do something that's uncomfortable. Or I hear the person say, don't do that, what will people say? Or the person that says, that's not your problem, don't worry about it. Or the person that says, they wronged you first. Or the person that says, go ahead, spend that money that you don't have, you deserve it. Or the person that says that, well, isn't, again, out there. It's usually me. And what gets in the way of me following Jesus is me. That's why I believe the Apostle Paul, just a few verses later, says this and states this so powerfully in Galatians chapter 2, verse 20. He says, I have been crucified with Christ, and it is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. The life I live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself up for me. Paul knows that what must die is himself. The desire for him to please himself, that's what gets in the way of him following Jesus most effectively. So my question for me and my question for you is really quite simple. What in your life must be crucified? What in your life are you trying to please? Yourself over Christ. What in your life must go away? What in your life that voice must be quieted so that you choose to listen to the voice of Jesus over the voice of whatever desire or fear is speaking into your life? For when you live to please him, that is life, and that is life to the full. You don't lose, but you